to this sacred space. So let us pray. You who open doors and dismantle barriers, open our hearts to praise you, that we may live the full truth of who we are, that we may live as neighbors and friends, no longer strangers and enemies. Open our hearts to the transforming power of your love, that we might forgive and reconcile, making peace and learning war no more, that we might be your people, one body and one spirit, to tell your grace to all the world. We pray in the name of the one who walked among us as brother and friend. Amen. Amen. I want to thank all of you who are here and you have your agenda. I just want to say a couple words before I ask Amy to come forward. Welcome to all of we have people from our Wayfarers Mennonite, Wayfarers Chapel that we're happy to have with us, and we will hear from them in a little bit. I'm happy to announce that Pastor Ann is going to be my parliamentarian. I tried to call her the planetarian, but was told that is the correct word. It is parliamentarian, so I'm happy to have her as a part of this, and I'm happy to have Stefan, who has been our person that has helped us with all of our IT and all of that kind of stuff, and he's doing a great job. I think I want you to give him a round of applause. Okay, well, I'll begin. I will have Amy come forward and she will be doing.
You're doing the assembly minutes.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't have my agenda right. Okay, so we do need to have the parliamentarian help me with this. You have received the minutes, and I would just ask the question if anyone wants to approve the minutes to make a motion.
I make a motion.
Megan Miller made the motion. Now, is there any discussion?
Oh, it has to be second. Second.
Second. Thank you.
No discussion.
Now, is there any discussion? If not, the motion has been accepted. And we can go on now to Amy. Thank you, Amy, for reminding me.
I think we need an all in favor.
All okay, thank you. Parliamentarian, all in favor? Aye. Now it's
Hello, everyone. Should I talk into? Just talk to you? Okay, talk to the people. That's great. The next part of our meeting, we're going to talk about folks who are leaving our leadership board and ministerial council, and folks who are joining, hopefully, if you all vote for them to join. So they will be approved or not today. So for ministerial council, we have Barry Bartel has stepped down from that role. He is, of course, as many of you know, a foundational member of our conference. He's a leader in so many ways. He's a lawyer. He and Brenda unfortunately moved to be closer to family in North Plains, Oregon. So we are sad that we lost him on ministerial council, but are grateful for the service he could provide us. And then Zach Martinez also stepped down from ministerial council. His work changed. He was a hospice chaplain, and he became kind of the communications person for the hospice agency. And so he still loves us, we still love him, but it wasn't a good fit anymore for his schedule to be able to help out with ministerial council. So those are the two departing members. And so we are proposing that Pam Duncan and Steve Boran would be the two that we have nominated for you all to approve today. So Pam Duncan, many of you know her. She was raised in a mainline church and discovered the Mennonites in 1998, and she has fallen head over heels for Anabaptism. If you talk with her for any length of time, as in more than 2 minutes. She will tell you how much she loves Anabaptist, which is great. She's a founding member and former chair of Sojourn Mennonite in Fort Collins. She served on the leadership board with me when, before I was conference minister, we served together. She was on the seed committee. She had a long career teaching political science at CSU. And she and her husband Steve have 2 grown daughters and a grandson. And so that's one person that we're proposing to you all to vote on. And then Steve Moran lives in Boulder, Colorado with his wife and daughter. He appreciates things like biking, hiking, cross-country skiing, building things, fixing things. His background is an electrical engineer, so all those lovely things. He's been a member of Boulder Mennonite since 1989. He had a story of being baptized by Marilyn Miller there. He served on various committees, and there's a list of them. But yes, lots of different leadership roles at Boulder. So both of them were kind of nominated either by their pastors or by folks who know them well. And then for leadership board, we also have an outgoing member and then a proposal to you all for an incoming member. So Wilmer Villacorta is the person who has stepped down. He had half a year left on his term. He's doing a lot of traveling in the next few months and just felt like it wasn't a good fit for him to be on leadership board. It wouldn't be fair to the other members. And so he did step down. And so we have asked Tim Yoder if he would be interested in the position. Tim has 4 kids, 6 grandkids. He's a member of Anabaptist Fellowship of Alamosa. He's kind of awkward when I'm looking at the people in the room who are being nominated. You can't, maybe I should have him wave. You can wave, he's right here. He has, and I think, yeah, Pam's not here and Steve wasn't able to make it either. Okay, so he has a bachelor's in accounting from Goshen and a master's from business administration from Bluffton. He spent his career working as a partner in a CPA firm in Ohio and continues to work on a part-time basis. He also is donating a stay at the historic Windsor Hotel in Del Norte, Colorado, a hotel that he owns. And so at the live auction tonight, this doesn't weigh into whether you should vote for him, but shameless plug for the auction tonight. The live auction will have a 1-night stay, 2 nights. We doubled it. Nice. Okay, 2 nights stay. Now I'm gonna bid on that one. Anyway, yeah, that's our shameless plug. But apart from that, he would like to. He's willing to serve on the leadership board, and he's been nominated to that position. So, I'm not having people fill out the form. We're not turning them in now. We're gonna do that later. How does this work?
They can hold all the ballots and then we can have some.
Okay, so feel free to fill it out if you like the descriptions or if you know the people. And then we will be collecting them later. We're not gonna, yes, Steve.
Get ballots.
Oh, we'll have some more ballots. Bonnie can bring them.
Thank you.
around.
If anybody needs pens, I got pens.
I need
Oh,
all
we
of
have some
those.
pens. Who else needs a ballot? Raise your hand if you're a delegate. Darren.
I do too.
Can she explain it?
And
There's one on the table.
And then one here.
Oh, what?
And you need one?
one more.
Yellow and green.
Oh, you can all. You can vote.
Wait a minute.
Thank you. You're flying your way in, she's down.
Anybody else? I have a few more pens if anybody needs a pen.
You gave away a couple.
Oh, we did that last year. Okay, parliamentarian, do we do a motion to approve the ballot? Is that how this works? I am not an expert.
No, they're
We
just
don't-
counted.
It was counted. Okay, right. So any questions before we move on the folks who are nominated for the roles? Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, now we are moving on to my conference minister's report for the year. I would like to start my report with this corny looking CD that I found in Bethel's library overhaul. It is Brian Moyer Suderman. I don't even know, is Carol related to him? Is
Yeah, that's her brother.
that her brother? I didn't even know that. I should have called her. No. Okay, it's not the same one, not the same Brian Suderman. Okay, so I know some of you know of this person. So I was playing this CD for my kids and I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but this song came on. And I want to share the lyrics with you. It's a familiar song that I think most of you are aware of. He started singing, "You're not alone, we are one body. You're not alone, we stand with you. You're not alone, your time of suffering is our suffering too. And I know the day is coming when we will be rejoicing anew." So I wasn't expecting it, but it was very moving to have that song come on the sound waves in my car with my kids. And I think it just reminds me that as part of Mountain States, you all are part of this. We are in this together. And it really is, in this day and age, I think, an amazing thing for us to not be alone, right? We can look around, we have each other. We have so many ministries in Mountain States. We have different ways that we are changing the world. And honestly, my agnostic friends are really jealous of the community that we have. I try to invite them. They have some hangups, but in these times that we're living in that are not easy, I have been drawn to the importance of community. There's so much beyond our control, and yet we're in it together, right? We have a body that's larger than ourselves. We suffer together, we celebrate together, we play in the mountains together. You are part of this, I am part of this, and we're not alone, we are one body. Thanks be to God.
Amen.
So now for some more specific updates. You all probably saw that the written reports, I'm basically gonna kind of quickly go through it like it's bullet points, and do feel free if there's something pressing to let me know. I can answer questions throughout or at the end. But I just like to kind of go through what I've been up to this year, so that you all have a feel for my job, and then that's of course interwoven with what all the people in all our churches have been up to this year. So a lot of what I do is support pastors. So I have been having, I had 190 one-on-ones with leaders this year, as well as calls and emails and various different things, especially as folks try to process collective tragedies, personal tragedies. We have our pastors group that meets at least once a month, and as well as our credentialed leaders retreat at Rocky Mountain Mennonite Camp. Those are wonderful ways for us to just support each other and to get to know each other better. And sometimes they have been hard meetings, I think, as we're hearing from each other and the difficulties that we face. But I think it's really important for us to be pastors, to be credentialed leaders together through all this. A highlight of this last year was, of course, Roca de Refugio's acceptance into Mountain States. A delegation of 12 folks from Mountain States was able to go in January to visit. I think it was really impactful for a lot of folks to receive hospitality from folks in San Antonio. And of course, now we're seeing crackdowns on communities like San Antonio. And so we have been, as a conference, I think, really focusing on that community in important ways in the last 6 months, in particular, 8 months, I guess. So things like welcome kits that you can donate to today, things like helping apply for grants, graphic design, fundraising for legal fees, sharing news, sharing podcasts, writing articles, sending volunteers towards the church, hearing from speakers, kind of cross-pollination at some of our churches, so all sorts of things. I have a whole list. And it always feels like it's not enough, right, for a community in such acute crisis. But I think we're trying to convey the message that folks are not alone. And we're hoping that they feel that at Roca. We have other communities who have been receiving grants as well from Mountain States. So we have Western Slope Mennonite Fellowship and Sojourn Fort Collins, both received some sizable grants or are in the process of receiving them. And so the hope is that those churches would continue to grow in all sorts of ways so that they can just be in it for the long haul in the conference. Over the winter, we had two major changes to our congregations. We said happy retirement to Dave Foncannon, which was so bittersweet. Many of us have loved him very much over the years, and we're really sad to see him retire, but it made sense. And then because of that, Alive with Grace did decide to close its doors. And they had already sold their building, and so they felt like it was time. It was not contentious, but it definitely was sad for them to say goodbye as a community. And then we have two communities that, by the way, those of you who come to my session after this, you're getting the answers ahead of time for my pop quiz. So we have Mountain Community and Beloved Community merged into one church. Vern Rempel is the pastor of both congregations, like a 2-point charge. And so they are now Mountain Community Mennonites. So if you don't hear us saying Beloved Community, that's why. It still exists, but it is now called Mountain Community, and it's joined with another congregation. As far as major events for pastors, we said farewell to Pastor Erica Leah Simca, who resigned from Albuquerque Mennonite. We miss her. She was wonderful. And then other folks who have had pastoral transitions, I'll let you read it in this section, but we have Rebecca and Dwight Skoll, Diane Garcia, Mike Martin, Katrina Taves, Hannah Martin. All of them have been working with ministerial council for different things to either receive credentials or change their credential status or different things. So I'll let you read through that for each of them. And then 3 of our churches are in pastoral transitions right now. So I have been, a chunk of my job is to help with those transitions for churches. So First Mennonite is now actively seeking a lead pastor. Albuquerque Mennonite is seeking a pastor. They do have Carol Rose is serving as brand new as their interim. Of course, we know that we have Anne here as the interim at First Mennonite. And then Sojourn Fort Collins is seeking a half-time pastor. So I say this every time I mention it, word of mouth seems to be the way that a lot of this happens. So if you do know of pastors anywhere in the country, it's better for you to poach them than for me to poach them. It's a bad look. If I do too much poaching, I can call up the conference minister and say, hey, what do you think of this person? But I try not to do too much stuff. But you all can chat with friends and family who might know someone who's credentialed or who has the training and capability to be a pastor. So yes, that is also on our radar right now. The Faith and Life Forum was really fantastic in the spring. I know many of you were at that with Shannon Dykes, so that was a highlight of this year. And then of course the usual communications. I've been up to that, the preaching, the Zing articles, the Kids Sunday. I've been doing more protesting recently. And then I led some weekly Zooms with Rhoda and Cheryl. Those were fun and kind of quirky on a few different speakers. So that was in the spring that we did that. Let's see, what else? Oh, also with communications, Ken Gingrich and John Beck have been working hard on our graphic design, our website. So we always appreciate their work in our conference. I put here that I got a 5-year review, but I think I'll wait, you can chat more about that. We care a lot about safe and healthy congregations. We drafted a new version of our child protection policy for the entire conference. So each of your churches will have its own child protection policy, but we wanted an overarching one for conference events. So things like what happens here at Assembly, that we'd all be on the same page about things like, you know, we're not gonna do one-on-one driving a youth for an hour as an unrelated adult, things like that, that we wanna just be on the same page of what our policies are. So we've been updating that and working with Nancy Kaufman at National to do that as well. Let's see, and then the accountability reports, healthy boundaries training, safe church, all those things that we are usually up to each year. And then should I go into the future Anabaptist stuff now or wait till we get to the budget?
You can do it now.
Okay. So the Future Anabaptist Leaders Program has been lovely. It's been very small. We've kind of had one intern at a time who's sort of a young adult looking at ministry. We have some fantastic interns. Some of you know Aaron Kaufman and Abe Dejeni. Some wonderful folks who have come through that program. It's become increasingly evident that it's going to remain a very small program. Especially because one of our big partners was AMBS, and they said, you know, we just don't have a pipeline of a ton of, you know, pastors in training who we can send, you know, multiple states away, who have a car, who have, you know, the ability to, who don't have a dog, right? Who like have the ability to just uproot for a few months, even if you pay them. I mean, we would give them a stipend, right? We just can't guarantee that we're gonna have one every year, even every couple of years. And so it's been a great program, but we are now shifting to looking at doing more within our conference, with the youth, with the teenagers, who are here already. And so providing some more programming. We have some volunteers who have stepped up and who are interested in helping out with that. So you'll see in the budget that affects things for what we're proposing for that, but we still are investing in the future Anabaptist leaders. We're just starting a little bit younger, basically, and the program will look different. So that's the update on that. And then nationally speaking, I was able to attend the conference ministers annual meeting, which happened to be in Puerto Rico. It was amazing. I know, I have the toughest job ever. They did keep telling us, like, tell people about the Caneo Center. So if you do have questions about the Caneo Retreat Center in Puerto Rico, come and ask me. That's part of why they sent us there. And then I also attended my, the usual monthly conference ministers meetings with, I'm looking at Rachel Ringenberg Miller back there. She facilitates those. And then Constituency Leaders Council, have been able to go to those pretty regularly. And then some of you may have caught the webinar that I spoke on about the misconduct process denominationally. Was so glad to see that passed at MinnoCon this year. So it was one of the voices speaking up for that, to make sure that we have a consistent pastoral misconduct process across the entire denomination, and don't have the situation where somebody could commit a harm in one state and then skip to the next state and not have the same consequences. Like, that's what we're trying to avoid. So really glad that passed. And then in the fall, I had the privilege of doing some adjunct teaching with AMBS, alongside Pastor Erica Leah Simca, teaching about women empowering the church. So that's always a fun topic. So I was glad to do that. Let's see. Photos and those. Oh yeah, there are some. I put some photos in your delegate packets of just a few highlights of the year. Part of that's because I'm not big on social media myself. And so I'm like, here's your social media for the year. So if you want to look at a few photos. That's why those are there randomly. But yeah, I mean, to close out my report, I just want to say that at the end of the day, it is an honor and a privilege all the time to serve as your conference minister. You all are great people. I say that about you behind your back, believe it or not. And I've been in putting together like the 101 presentation I'll give after this. I have been acutely aware of just how I've inherited some generally quite healthy institutions and cultures in Mountain States. And so that does make all of our jobs and lives easier. And so, yeah, to do my part to continue what we've been up to is an honor every day. So I appreciate that. And now conference. Okay, so before I move on and start thanking some of our staff, does anyone have questions, concerns, thoughts on my report, on that part of time together? Wow.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just want to confirm this is a full-time job now.
Correct.
Because at one point it was not.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. Well, we need to say thank you. We like to take time at our delegate session to say thank you to our staff in a more like public way rather than just, thank you notes privately. We like to say thank you to the staff. So first, I will say thank you to someone who's not here. So Lauren Roth served as our treasurer. She did step down recently. So we've been scrambling. We do have another company that we're working with. So she helped us a lot. We were really glad that she stepped up to serve in that role. She did decide to step down because her other job, she was working another job, because this, of course, the treasurer was very, very part-time. And that job became full-time and many more hours than she was expecting even. And so it was just too much. So if you do see her around, say thank you. And I did give her a gift and some things to say thank you to her. So I wanted to start with that one. And then I'll have Rhoda. Yeah. Well, let me get your gift.
I was gonna give it.
No. This is your gift, but you have to open it right now so we can talk about it. Especially the black box. So here's. So, Rhoda.
Yeah, I bought the black box.
You are one of, just hold that up, don't let it open. 'Cause so this is a puzzle made out of photos of like conference activities. 'Cause you can have puzzles made these days, it's great.
That's so cool.
And she loves doing puzzles. That's like-
500, and I see this is 520.
Yeah,
I only
it's-
do 500 to 750.
I didn't even know that you were snobby about the
Very
number
snobby.
of, okay, well, good thing I got in it'd be like 5,000.
I'm a puzzle snob.
She's a puzzle snob, yes. So this is this photo, so I want you to have
Really
that.
cool.
And then, this was like kind of a like night in box with, some other
Oh,
fun
yeah,
stuff.
some
And
cool
those
stuff.
I made,
Love these.
those, Matt and I made those, so.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
mine, look at that.
So,
So cool.
yeah, so and the
Thank you.
puzzle says something really tacky. But the best, so on the puzzle, it says, thanks for all you do to put the pieces together in Mountain States. Yeah. It's such a good support to me, and it's so much fun to work with you, and it's so great to be able to talk through everything together. And I so appreciate your compassionate heart. Like, she really gets upset when someone's being hurt and something's going wrong. She cares so much, which is good. Like, we need people like that in the world. And it's just, it's a joy all the time to work with you. And so I hope you
I feel the same about
feel
you.
joy
Yeah.
through this. So
And we have something for
we have
you.
something for Cheryl. Oh, let's do
Well,
Cheryl.
Yeah, let us be sure.
We're gonna do Cheryl next. Okay,
This is
Cheryl,
for
here's your
Cheryl.
basket. Thank you,
You wanna
Cheryl.
stand up
Okay.
and- Someone should take a picture.
I
don't-
wanna read, so we also had photos made for some, I was in a Shutterfly mood this year. So this is the largest ball of twine in the world that Cheryl led us to on the way to a CLC meeting in Kansas. Have you, who's been to the largest ball of twine?
Oh, yeah, Jonathan, was he?
Oh, is it contested? Okay, I feel like it's contested. What's this? Is it contested?
Yes,
Is it
it's
contested?
contested.
No, it's not. Oh, okay. Cause I was really like, this is a large, it's a big deal, right? So anyway, so because of that, we said thanks for entwining yourself in Mountain States. We're going for the cheesy humor. But there you go. Okay, she wants.
And then I have found she likes to read, and I have loved Robin Wall Kimmerer, who wrote Braiding Sweetgrass. And she has this book called The Serviceberry, Abundance and Reciprocity, or in the Natural World. So I got this for you, because you live in the natural world and living up here in the mountains. And it's a book I absolutely love. So if anyone, and I thought about Diane needs this book because it talks a lot about abundance and scarcity. This is a book we gave her. And then I get my coffee from Equal Exchange, and there is a Women in Coffee blend. So I got her that and a mug. So you are well
Yeah,
taken care of. And we love Cheryl. I call her up and tell her, you've got to do this now. And she does it now.
and I call her up and say, can I talk about something? And she's like, okay, and then we talk. She's very supportive, very good listener. If you want someone to listen to you, go to Cheryl. Sorry, I'm signing you up for a line. Such a good listen. And she did like the logistics for this.
Yes.
We were not sure if we could even be here because we kept looking at churches and they just weren't big enough. And then she thought of Colorado Mountain College and figured it all out. And we were like, oh, this is a game changer. So that's why we're here, because of Cheryl. So.
In the mountains for $87. That's not possible. So that's another reason we're here. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, well, hold on. We should let's do intros of them and then that would, after the, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So next up, we are going to, give a little bit of, it's in my. Here. Yes, here we go. Okay. So we have, as I keep mentioning, because I'm so excited about it, we have a couple churches possibly maybe interested in joining Mountain States, and one was able to come today, even with the highway shut down. My goodness. And so we're gonna hand out they put together at my request this one page. Yeah, I'll let you guys hand this out. Kind of a summary of who they are. And I'll just say, so I'm gonna have Pastor Colin come up and share for like 5 minutes or so. So I'll just say though, before you come up, that as far as where we're at in the process it was just a couple months ago that they reached out, and it was at the behest of Mike Martin, was part of the discernment decision making, because they've worked with Raw Tools for years, volunteered with Raw Tools, and we're looking for a change in structure, polity, and who they associated with. And Mike said, well, you all might fit in super well with Mountain States. And so Colin reached out and we got coffee, and then that Sunday I visited their lovely congregation, really enjoyed my time with them, very, very hospitable. Good job. And so I reported to the board that I'd had this interaction, and that I thought it was worth exploring and seeing if it would be a good fit for them to join our conference. So I will let Colin share whatever he wants to share. about who you are and what you're thinking right now, so. You come up.
It's not intimidating at all. Know each other so well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for considering. The Wayfarers Chapel, we've been around, 10, 12 years already. Our community largely, I think, focuses on misfits, folks that just don't fit in really well in other churches, whether that's the culture, the buildings, the spaces. We kind of got our start when a church that was in the denomination I was working with, the Presbyterian Church USA, closed. And they kind of said, oh yeah, we'll get rid of the building. And I'm like, I love that neighborhood. I grew up near there. There's some wonderful people. What would it look like without the church building? So over the years, we've just experimented a lot. So we've done things in parks. We've partnered with a million other nonprofits, including, beloved Raw Tools, who we love and have worked with a ton. We've met in bars, we've met in people's homes, but our call, I think, really is to find people that just don't fit in other places. So we've had tons of conversations around meals. We've had people losing their faith in our community. We've had people considering it for the first time. We've had atheists come and just say, hey, convince me to stick around. And the answer is almost always the kind of things that I see valued here. It's community. It's our life together. It's paying attention to the least. We are based in kind of the downtown area of Colorado Springs. And that just some very unique challenges there with gentrification, with the folks that are often being pushed off to other places. I think I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. I think there's a lot of heart for the folks that we just adore in those neighborhoods. So yeah, you started out by kind of saying we need to be reminded at times that we are not alone. It can be really hard to do kind of kingdom work in the places where you do feel alone a lot of the time. So that's just kind of what we're doing here. We've heard about some of your ministries. We've heard about some of the ways God is at work in these cool little local places you're at. And we just kind of want to share our story and be in on that. We need some scaffolding. We want to be encouraged by all of you. We want to hear what you're up to in very challenging times when I think God is up to some really good things. I think these times of challenge bring out the best in the church, hopefully, at times. So I think there's some amazing opportunities as well. We're trying to just be a scrappy little community, taking in folks that just don't fit in other places. It looks like a lot of really different things. So we threw together some photos. We've had so many things that didn't work. We just fail a lot. It's kind of what we're good at. Very skinned knee kind of a church, but at the same time, we've developed this kind of model of just inviting people into our hearts and lives. It is slow, painful work. People, again, are nodding your heads because you know that. You know what it looks like to be involved in people's lives, to give the time to share meals, to hurt with them, to feel under-resourced with the pain that's actually there, and to be there again and again and again and show God coming up. So that's what we've had a privilege of doing for a long time. We're just here discerning. We're learning about how you guys do things, hearing about the cool stuff you're up to. And come ask us questions. We'll share stories probably. We'll probably talk too long. But we're excited. So thank you. Thanks for even considering having us. And I'm trying, I don't know how Anabaptists do discernment as much, but I'm a little concerned with is God trying to keep us away, or he's trying to see how interested we are in sticking around? So it was a nuisance, but
relate to somebody who would relate with you.
We'll find out. We'll see what your tolerance level is. Awkward people, etc. So thank you. We're around, ask questions. Thank you.
Let me just say, we're not gonna do Q&A with them right now, but did you have a question in
I was just
general?
gonna say, can everybody from Wayfarer
Yeah,
shake so we
sorry.
know who they are?
Give a wave. Yes. They have kids as well, so it's very fun.
Amy, can I just say,
Yes.
I just met some of the kids as I was doing a kids session and they were delightful and had amazing things to say to contribute to the conversation. So I could see there's a lot of good faith work going on there.
Yeah, So just before we move on, part of why, like, as soon as I met them, I was like, can you come to assembly? I'm like kind of pushing it. Because I want you all to be able to meet each other and just have the one-on-one interaction and ask whatever questions at this juncture in our discernment process. And then do feel free to chat with, especially leadership board members, to give whatever thoughts or feedback you have as far as what a discernment process might look like with them. So yeah, we have not sat down and figured out step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in general, you saw how things worked with Roca. And with Wayfarers, at least, they are quite a bit geographically closer. There's some things that will make it easier to actually have some cross-pollination with that congregation. And so I do wanna to mention that. And so so the leadership board at our next meeting, I'm sure we will be deciding if we want to move forward, chatting with them. And then we will be incorporating you all in the process, just like we did with Roca, where we will have some open meetings where folks can come and be part of those conversations. So, and yes, Jerry.
Can I say, don't make it too complicated?
Sure.
Because I'm already a yes.
I did see you chatting and you're from the same city, so all these things. So so I mean, we want to have a robust process, but yes, sometimes it can be too much. And then I will also say, as I've mentioned a few different times, but I don't know who's at which session, that we do have another church that's maybe possibly interested from the Salt Lake City area. So we'll be in touch if they do decide they want to move to the next step, then we'll be in conversation with you all at that point. So those are the new congregation. So I would pass it off to Rhoda.
Thank you, Amy. Let's give her a round of applause. Now I'm going to do my moderator report, and so as I reflect on these past 6 months, I want to share some highlights. I want to say that Mountain States Mennonite congregations are vibrant. They have gathered together in community, nurturing connections with each other. I have witnessed creative worship, intergenerational learning opportunities, mutual support, and celebration and grief. And we in January had a delegation from Mountain States that went to San Antonio and met with Roca de Refugio, and we were welcomed with open hands and hearts. The vibrancy of this immigrant congregation offered us support and love and uncertainty. We all felt their deep love for each other and for the God that they served. Our delegation left San Antonio with hearts full and a longing to continue this relationship. We are currently walking alongside the congregation as they struggle to support families who have family members detained. Our hearts are breaking. I traveled with Amy to Albuquerque Mennonite, and she spoke about that to say goodbye to Pastor Erica. And one thing that I did that I thought was really cool, I don't think any of the Hmong congregation is still here, but I participated in the Rocky Mountain Mennonite Hmong congregation's women's ministry.
Other folks?
Oh, they're there, okay. I didn't see you there. We gathered together from 9 to 2 at Glennon Heights. It was a day of reflection, fun, music, good food, relay races that I haven't done for years and years, and games with prizes. We even did bingo, which was lots of fun. And I shared from their theme in the Christian community, and this was a women's event. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, I did. We are our sisters' keepers. As one attendee told me at the end of the event, I needed this today. It was fun, inspiring, and allowed me to meet new sisters in Christ. It was a wonderful opportunity and one that I would never have had if I did not have this role. So I really enjoyed that. And I should say, Amy mentioned the Constituency Leaders Council, and we took a road trip. It was me, Amy, and Cheryl, and then Jonathan went with us too, and it was, we had so much fun on this road trip. We used that game that is on your tables. We had questions, we talked, we laughed, we ate. It was wonderful. So if she ever asks you to do a road trip, say yes. I want to talk a little bit about missional engagements. I know that our members have responded to local needs with open hearts, including food distribution efforts, rent assistance, clothes closets, supporting refugees, and partnering with local organizations for social justice initiatives, which included protests, which many of us have been a part of. And then our youth programs, as Amy mentioned, have resumed, and I'm excited about that because I have two grandsons that are in that group, and they've already done some things with youth here in the conference, and I'm excited to think that we are going to provide some money for them to continue, and that we have leaders that have come forward. As I look ahead, I'm encouraged by the faithfulness and the creativity of congregations and the leaders that we have. The landscape of the church life is shifting while uncertainty remains, so does opportunity. And Mountain States Mennonite Conference will continue to prioritize water. So some of the areas of prioritizing, as I see it, is ongoing discernment, listening for God's leading as we face new questions about identity, belonging, and mission in a rapidly changing culture. Equipping leaders, providing resources, training, and accompaniment to nurture healthy leadership at all levels of our conference. The youth engagement, investing in the spiritual formation and leadership capacities of our young people. Missional witness, deepening our commitment to justice, peace, and service in our communities and beyond. Hospitality and inclusion, welcoming diverse voices and gifts, and ensuring our conference is a place of belonging for all. I am deeply grateful for the countless volunteers, the pastors, the staff, and lay leaders who pour their time, gifts, and love into our conference. Your care for one another and your courageous witness inspire me and so many others. As we move forward, let us trust in God's unfailing presence, power of Christ's love to renew and guide us. May the Mountain States Mennonite Conference be a light in our world, bearing witness to God's peace and justice. Let us continue to encourage one another, serve our neighbors, and walk humbly with our God. Blessings to each of you as we journey. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask Amy to come forward because we're going to talk about her 5-year conference minister review. Yeah, you can I want to begin by thanking all of you who participated in Amy's review. Your input was very greatly appreciated. There were 26 responders, and our leadership board members hosted the Zoom meetings, and the responses were recorded. We not only asked questions about Amy, but also about the conference. And the questions that we asked were, and I'm going to read them because I think they are very helpful for you to know what we asked. What aspects about Mountain States Mennonite Conference do you appreciate the most? Tell a story to illustrate. In what area of our conference's life and mission would you like to see more growth? What aspect of Amy's ministry do you especially value? Tell a story to illustrate. In what aspects, if any, would you like to see Amy grow in ministry? How can we as a conference strengthening Amy's ministry among us? How can we as a conference strengthen Amy's ministry among us? I think that's what it should say. Then number 6 was communication and dispensing information to our churches and partners is an important Priority for the conference. Share ways that Amy and the conference has been successful in communicating the work of the conference. And then do you have suggestions for further growth? And I will tell you, when I read through all of the answers, it was incredible to see the responses that we got. I mean, it was all pretty basically positive. It was just wonderful to hear what you all had to say. And so when our leadership board met in executive session and discussed the responses, and there was an overwhelming sense that Amy is very appreciated for her many gifts. We made a motion unanimously to give her another 5-year term. And in my, yes, and in my role as the Everence Stewardship Consultant, I have interacted with many conferences and many conference ministers. And I must say that we have a gift in Amy. And I'm going to ask her to come forward now. And we have a gift for her. And I'm going to have Cheryl bring up what's in that today. Yeah. Just sort of covered in and out. Yeah, I want you to see it. I want you to all look at this wonderful picture.
Yay.
Oh,
Love it. So I can actually explain. I knew I was gonna get this. So this is an original oil painting by Adrian DeForest, who's a member of Boulder Mennonite, who I didn't know super well before she called me up and said, "Can I paint you and your son?" So this was based on a photo of the two of us, of Bennett and me. And so she painted it. It's original and it's gorgeous. And so I said, well, I have my, like, I think they're gonna get me a gift. Can we pay you for this? Like, cause they were gonna get something. So we did, like, retroactively, after she painted it, we wanted to value our artists among us. And so we did give her just a little token of our appreciation. And so yes, I knew about this, but it was like one of the nicest things anyone ever suggested.
And this was at a protest at the Capitol. In
Through
I think,
Menno Action.
Yeah, through Menno Action. And I
Some
took
of
a
you were
picture
there.
like this too. I have a picture very similar to this that I loved it. And when she told me the story, I said, oh my goodness, and I just got to see it too. And I said, this is just.
And Bennett made his own sign, which says, "Let's be quick to welcome everyone." And it's Sonic the Hedgehog, and it says, "He's quick."
So anyway, we are just thrilled to have Amy. be a part. And I said, we also asked questions about the conference, and we as a leadership board met to discuss how to better serve the conference as a result of the responses we received. And one of the items that we heard multiple times was engaging the youth, and that came out loud and clear. And so I'm excited that we have included that in our budget for next year. And that was as a result of this review that we made. And then I also want to engage the leadership board in further dialogue about some of the conference, about the conference in the next year. And let me conclude this part by saying it was very evident that our constituents feel very positive about the conference and the direction we are going. So thanks very, very much. Now I'm going to shift to the budget. And let me. Oh, we have to vote for Amy. I'm sorry. And I don't know, is there a ballot for her? Okay, so why don't you fill out that ballot? And then we'll do that.
I was looking at the bylaws, it doesn't say anything about voting on a slate, but it feels weird not to. So,
Is that coming in?
I make a motion that we accept the action of Who was it that
The leadership
nominated
board.
the leadership board, to extend a 5-year contract
Second.
to Amy Zimbelman?
Second, we got a second, and is there a vote? We have to, or we have
And
to.
then we have a ballot.
Ballot, okay. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Okay. So now if you have your budget with you there, that means I have stuff all together here.
Hey, Rhoda, were you gonna do something about finance committee members?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about
Okay.
that in my.
Thank you.
Okay. So. So I'm gonna concentrate mainly on the 2026 working budget that we have. So I'm gonna talk about that. And I will tell you, if I don't have answers to your questions, I promise I will get the answers to you. It might not be today, but I will get the answers to you. So as you saw, we are voting for a finance committee, which I'm very excited about. And you got in your package, you got, and I want to just say briefly something about each of them. And I want Megan Miller to stand. She's here with us. She lives in Fort Collins with her husband Ray, and she is with Sojourn Fort Collins, and she is going to be a member of the finance committee. I'm very happy she accepted that. And then Lynn Miller, who attends my congregation, they moved here from Elkhart, and he's retired, but he's been an accountant and financial manager in the not-for-profit world. He was very helpful to me as I was working on this budget, so I'm thrilled that he said yes. And then we have a liaison with our leadership board, and that liaison is Kim Kaufman. We're happy that she agreed to also be a part of the leadership, of the finance committee. And then Greg Beachy is the husband to Cheryl, and he too agreed to be on this, and I'm very happy to have his expertise. And then I should also say that Everence manages our endowment fund, so Dennis Lefevre and I think probably Jonathan will be involved with that aspect of the budget. And that is the endowment fund that we have. So let me go, and as Amy talked about, if you look at the budget, the 2026 budget, you will see it, like she said, Alive with Grace closed, and then Mountain Community and Beloved Community merged. But I want to just tell you that the giving to congregations is extremely important part of our budget. So I want to thank every one of your congregations for the giving that you do. This is a very important part of what makes our budget doable. So I want to thank you for that. And as Amy talked briefly about the Future Anabaptist Leaders Fund, 3 years ago when we were at First Mennonite for our assembly, we created, or we voted on the Future Anabaptist Leaders Fund. And this money was taken from the Reitmeyer estate gift. And we really did enjoy having those leaders come. We had, I think, 4 of them that came through different ways, and like she mentioned, the 2 that and it was a small but a mighty program. But what we found is that the amount of money set aside for that doesn't match the pipeline of young adults. So we had a partnership with AMBS, and as Amy talked about, they couldn't guarantee interns. So as we thought about what you as constituents said in our review, that youth are an important part, they are the future Anabaptist leaders. And so we decided that is crucially important. So we have set aside $5,000 in that fund, from that Young Anabaptist Leaders Fund to give to, and we have Jonathan Harnish, Anakin, and Anakin Taves and Katrina Taves, who are the 3 people that have stepped forward that said they want to be a part of the youth, and I'm excited about that. And they are going to be doing activities with our youth. And just make sure I'm and a lot of conferences don't offer conference-wide youth programming because they often have churches that have 15 or 20 kids in it, but we don't. And we have some churches, like my church, that we had 2 kids, we had 2 youth that went to MennoCon. And so So we felt like this was an important part of our conference, so that was the reason that we decided this was very important. And then we also, for another part of the funding, and I'm gonna ask Amy to come up to talk about, we are using some of this money to keep Amy at full time. The 3 years have expired that she had been hired to be 3/4 time. And so for 3 years, we took money out of the Reitmeyer Fund to fund her being full-time. And we, as a leadership board, I was on a road trip with her to Albuquerque, and all of a sudden I looked at her and I said, you've got to be full-time. You can't possibly do this work and be 3/4 time. And so I went back to the leadership board, we talked about it, and we decided, yes, it's very important. She works more than 40 hours a week. I know because I keep track of her. Know that I keep track. And so then we went back and we decided that money could come from that Young Anabaptist Fund. And then we also have one other place that I'm gonna have Amy talk about the other $2,000 that we're.
Yep, so another thing that we're proposing for your review and approval in the budget is setting aside a little bit of money for a conference safety liaison. This is a new position in general, as far as national, it's a new position. With our new prevention and accountability misconduct process, it recommends that now it requires that we have someone who is basically the point person who will take a major role in any sort of pastoral misconduct, like formal process that we would have. God forbid we won't have it, but and so then the conference safety liaison would work with a team of people called the response team, and they would basically work on a process, be the point people for a process. And then ministerial council would still be a part of that process. They would do a bit more of the decision making at the end when the information is presented to them, but they wouldn't be like kind of the day in and day out overseeing a misconduct process. $2,000 is not a lot because it is a huge job. But we basically wanted to pay a little stipend to whoever steps up and does that position. And we wanted to start setting aside a little money so there could be a fund that we could do a stipend in the future if we ever have need for that, so that it's not, oh, dang it, we have no money set aside at all and we need someone to spend 8 to 30 hours a week on this process, which is how much time I spent on it. So it would take that role away from the conference minister, which is great, and have it be administered by someone else. So any questions about that? It's a little confusing, but yes, Linda.
I was just gonna say, cause I was at convention, that the idea, I think, is that there is a misconduct claim, they would pick up these liaisons, the safety liaisons from like 3 different places. So it wouldn't even be the one in that conference, like you would probably be investigating someone in one of the other conferences. So again, they were trying to make that separate layer where like, we've dealt with it here, was so close to home, but to have that like the 3 who would be investigating or looking into it would be from different conferences. So that's why each conference they're asked to have one, so they can do that nationwide when things come up.
Sure, yeah. Rachel had something she wanted to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that MSUSA will provide training for this person, and so that's not something Mountain States will be doing. There'll be a training for them. The Mountain States rep will always be involved when there is something that happens within Mountain States, but as Glenda said, that if there's a misconduct, let's say in Western District, they might be called to serve, be a part of that. Yep.
John had a question. Yeah.
Is that fund is that in the budget now?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
But it should be $2,000, just.
It's, if you look in the
set
two
aside something.
thousand six budget, I mean, the 2026 budget, it is, let me see here. It's listed under.
It's easier to see if you pull it
Yeah,
up.
it's under supporting our mission.
Is it highlighted with
It's
something?
highlighted, yeah, it's a couple lines from the bottom, it's in yellow and it says
Yeah.
new, but it is easier to see.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay,
See it?
great. Was there another hand?
It is easier to see that way.
Thanks.
I'll keep it. I hope that's clear as mud. All of it.
If you have more questions, ask Rachel Ringenberg Miller.
And when you approve this budget, that will be approval of this change. So I just wanted
Off, I see.
you all to know that. So we need that vote of approval. You will also notice on this budget that we have a deficit in 2025, and that amount is listed in, let's see, I think it's like 11,000. I'm trying to find it. I should have highlighted it, and I didn't. But anyways, I think it's like $11,000. Oh, and then I should go back to something else. The finance and the finance committee and the fact that Lauren has resigned, we did some research and found we found an accounting and bookkeeping firm in Colorado Springs that will do our accounting and our books. And they will do our payroll and all of that. And basically what we will pay them is pretty much what we paid Lauren. So it's sort of it's basically the same amount, which we were very grateful for. They're located in Colorado Springs. Everything is right there. Amy has met with them. Lauren had found them and did some research on it. So we were very grateful that we were able to find someone. We had looked at someone else, but they couldn't start till January 1st. And this firm is, and we talked to Tim Yoder, and and he is an accountant. He's been in an accounting firm, and we feel very positive about the work that they will do. And it's someone that, I think for myself that it's someone that doesn't know doesn't know us, and they're gonna do the work of that. And I think sometimes that works almost better when you have someone that is sort of not associated with us, but can do everything that Lauren had done. And then the finance committee will, they serve basically as the fiscal agent of the conference. And its primary purpose is to create and manage the budget that supports Mountain States while ensuring transparency, accountability, and compliance. And so those are important parts of the finance committee. And we will meet quarterly, and I will be the chair of that. And I will have people like Dennis Lefevre will probably come and talk about different aspects of our endowment. And I feel confident that this finance committee will be able to will be able to help us in that regard. Now, there was another, last year I talked about the Social Enterprise Committee that was tasked with starting a social enterprise to sustain the conference long-term. And we stopped meeting, it's been over a year ago, it's been I think a year and a half ago. And I served on that committee, and we had tried many different ideas, found that we were either short-funded or human power or both. It wasn't. So when I began as moderator in January this year, I had a few ideas for that fund, but I wanted to start by listening and getting a feel for where the conference is at first. We don't want to throw money at an idea irresponsibly. So the leadership board does not currently have a new proposal to present for you this year. But this means that the money will stay in an account, CD, or in a money market until there is a momentum and that was $125,000 for a social enterprise until all you as delegates vote to reappropriate the funding for some other cause or idea. It will need to be an idea that helps sustain our conference long term. So if you have ideas and thoughts about what that could be, and that would be seed money, the $125,000 could be considered as seed money to do that. We've thought about thrift stores, we've thought about a lot of different things. And I would love to see something come out of that. I'd love to be involved in it. So please, if you think of some creative idea, come and talk to me about it. So now I'm gonna ask for questions, discussion about the budget.
Just about what you said, that 125,000 seed money for the social enterprise,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
That came from the Brightmeyer Fund.
Okay,
And that was also the money that came from the church planting fund.
okay,
That,
Same thing.
the same one, the same.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think the thought is right now, if we don't have either something started or a viable proposal by next year, then at assembly, the delegates will vote to reappropriate that fund for something else. It does, I think the leadership board still feels strongly that it somehow needs to be sustaining the conference and growing the conference. Just because we are not on a trajectory to be a viable conference 10 or 20 years from now. Like we need more funding, unfortunately. I don't like dealing with money. I wish we didn't have to work with money, but that's the reality. And so we're like, okay, how can we continue existing as a conference? So that's kind of the overarching idea. But because it was approved by delegates a few years back, then it would have to, changing the direction of the money significantly, it would have to be reapproved. If that makes sense.
Yes. And then also, you'll note in the budget, like I said, that we do have a deficit. And part of the finance committee's responsibilities will also be to think about how we can get that 11,000, it's 11,000, I'm not sure, how we can possibly do some fundraising, some ways that we can make a balanced budget, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's something we're, this finance committee, do that. So any more questions? Yes.
So two things. The first one is more on the positive side. Your budget amount for Bethel's giving for last year and this year is low.
You know,
And
you might have,
that's probably our fault for not communicating, but that's about $3,000 that will go towards the deficit.
oh, okay, that's great.
My second question is more in opposition to that one.
He was on the
Where-
Social Enterprise Committee.
Yeah, I was. I'm also a co-chair at Bethel, and so we are trying to figure out our deficit at the moment as well. Where's the deficit money coming from?
That's what we're gonna talk about fundraising or things that.
So
we-
basically out of the endowment, or like how,
Well, that's the kind of things we're gonna talk about.
we don't want cash sitting around that, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, those are the kind of things we're gonna talk about at our finance committee meeting. I don't have answers for that at this moment, but those are the kind of things that we're gonna, and I mean, we have money.
Yeah, no, but that's a nice idea.
And Dennis is gonna help us with that in town. Yeah, we already take money out of. Yeah, and I have you down for 7,250.
Should be 10,500.
How much?
10,500.
That I know. Where that,
Thank you.
well, that's wonderful.
We're on a fiscal year, and our fiscal year is a little bit opposite to the calendar
So
year.
10,000, well, we've already gone down a little bit on our deficit.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Anyone else?
I'm giving Jerry a high five after this. You too could have a high five.
Trying to help with the deficit.
Any other questions or discussions? If not, what do I do next?
So the motion comes from a committee, so that covers the motion being made and the second. And we're voting by paper,
Okay.
so we don't call for the vote.
Oh, okay, and we do have it on
We
the
do
paper?
call for the paper.
It's on the paper?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't look at it, so I just. Okay, very good. Well, hey, so now, since we can now, I think we'll collect the vote, I mean, we'll collect the papers. Is that how we do it? And then we'll tell you.
Or just agree.
All of them, right?
All of them? Oh, I have.
All of them. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Pardon?
I don't want to get in the way.
Okay, here you go.
That's Kim's idea. You do everything. I was just curious. So you already have a job.
Like church is.
Yeah.
She's a teacher. She
Now, I'll just call her.
Finance committee.
Do you have a report for the?
I can't have that. But I do have that.
Okay. Then you'll be next. Yeah, it is. Oh, you're on there. This is what I used to last time. Okay, I'll say just so you know that.
Cheryl is doing it. She has to clear on the other side of the room. Do you have a lot?
Would you do like some of our minutes?
You could.
Where did Cheryl's got them?
How many slash
That's bad.
Oh, okay. We don't wanna go to.
We have complete.
I know.
Yeah.
But you did have.
Well,
10 minutes.
yeah, I'm doing the corporate thing too, so.
Oh, this is for Oregon.
I'm doing it. I'm on the camp board.
He's available.
We're in Everence.
Yeah, but he's gonna, he's doing
Everence
everything.
gonna be part of it.
Okay,
Let's do the camp first.
okay, that sounds good. Well, now we're hearing from the Rocky Mountain Mennonite camp, the board person and then the.
Yeah, always dangerous to follow women in leadership who have commanded your attention so well, and then it's me and Corbett. So with that as an intro, my name is Dennis Lefevre. I serve on the Rocky Mountain Camp Board. Presently am the treasurer of that board. Our board chair, Rod Stutzman, got called away to a more important event, i.e. a wedding for a family member in Ohio. We'll forgive him this time. Thank you to the constituent groups of the conference, i.e. congregations, who are doing good work within your own community, but you're also supporting the mission and the ministry of Rocky Mountain Mennonite Camp. We're very grateful for that support. We are an 8-member board made up of the following sort of mixes. So about 3 of those 8 are from congregations within the conference. 3 are at-large appointments. 1 happens to be a Mountain States appointed person, and 1 presently comes from Kansas because of the longstanding connections that the camp and the Kansas churches have had. And 1 of those members is up for renewal presently, Dave Martin, who is serving presently as the vice chair of the board. From the Valley, from the La Junta Shara area, is up for a 3-year term. So I would propose that to you, or excuse me, let's have a motion from the floor to have Dave serve for another 3-year term. He has agreed to that, so he won't be surprised. But if someone would move, thank you, Ryan, co-moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Derek Hutchison. Any questions around that? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for that support. Appreciate that. 2 minor updates before I turn it over to Corbin. At the board level, we focus on big picture kinds of things. So one of our big picture items for this year is the burn room update. For those of you who have been to camp, you will understand that the burn room could use an update. It is largely the same as it was when it was built in early 50s.
52, baby.
52, there we go. So following a wedding that happens in August of this year, that space will basically get gutted. And we will work at an update and renewal of that space. Second item, as an update for you, some of you who have been here in Colorado for a while understand that fire insurance is a thing. And it's a challenge. So just to put it in perspective, in previous years, the camp had fire insurance for $5 million of coverage. We paid $40,000 a year for that. A year or 2 ago, we learned that our premium rate was going to go from $40,000 to $60,000, and our coverage was going to go from $5 million to $250,000.
Paid for it, 2 years.
So it was a painful thing to learn about. But what we decided at that point is we would begin the process to become self-insured so that in the event of fire, we would have something to fall back on. And we now have an endowment fund that has been designated to be our fire fund. And so we are welcoming continuing contributions to that fund. Presently stands at around $260,000-ish of value in that fund presently, which would be painful if we had a $5 million loss. But we as a board felt like that was a prudent decision. Rather than paying our $60,000 for the 250, we'll take that, what had been 40,000, put that money in the endowment, and then as donations come, we'll seek to build that up. So just some 2 big picture items there for you to be aware of. Happy to have Corbin Graber, our executive director, with us, and he will round out this portion of the program.
Thank you kindly.
Yes, indeed. And his lovely assistant, Emma.
Mostly just wanted to quickly highlight what was already shared this morning by Amy, Kathy, and Diane. Thank you. You demonstrated or you shared about hospitality well. It's a big, broad piece pie to get all covered well. And so that is what I offered to you, is that we try to share that as a staff to each other, and we try to share that with everyone who comes and actually demonstrate that each day to each other and demonstrate that to the guests. And I'm seeing Glenda here. She was one of our first time nurses this year. There ain't an inspection from the state. So, we'll probably never see her again, but thank you. Just gratitude again for that representation of what hospitality does look like. Offering a space without judgment, welcoming who you are and where you are in life and in your spiritual journey, and trusting in abundance via prayer, via volunteers, via the conference that supports us, via you churches that support us. it's what makes, it's the secret sauce. I'll just put it that way. So anyway, and as part of that secret sauce, Emma's holding up what we used as our summer camp culture to put into action that hospitality that we showed each other. And so just real quickly, we have show up, use the Moses story, responding to God's call. We use pay attention, Mary and Martha's story from Luke. We use leave, do your best, with Joseph and his brothers from Genesis. And then we also use leave the results with God, the feeding of the 5,000, and just kind of the expectations of the work you put in and what you may or may not see about what comes out of that. We also added gratuity or gratitude, creativity, good communication, being a place of retreat. And then last but not least, being the eyes, ears, hands, and feet of Jesus Christ, while channeling the fruits of the Spirit in that action. So there you go, a nice little summary of how we try to make hospitality real and inviting to all those who come. So thank you very much, Emma. Real quickly, and some pictures worth 1,000 words, so we'll just go with that and go through this quickly. Here is the current dining hall, but we'll go on to the next one. Here we are back from the 52s. Check out those cars. You don't get to see those models. Anyway, like was said, the dining hall is very much like it was at that time. And so the time has come to just give it some new insulation for sustainability, lowering the costs of operating the facility, that kind of thing. We're happy about maintaining the same windows. Was encouraged by actually a family member from Bethel who does restoration. They just said, how long have these windows survived? And how long have the new dining hall windows survived? We'll get to that. The ones with low-E glass needed to be replaced last year after 18 years or whatever. So anyway, trying to do our best to instill stewardship in terms of the gifts that have been given us, but also not just starting over and taking care of what's already there. So a bit of our calendar is this is actually our MDS crew. So this is the crew that comes each fall to help us with that fire mitigation part. So it's a little bit of a pre-disaster in terms of here's what we can do to help ensure that the facilities are there before the disaster comes. Good group crowd. Here's a group that came up for fundraising with so many cinnamon rolls with Mary. That was the Bethel crew. Here we are, snow camps continue to be a great opportunity. A large majority of this crowd is Kansas churches, so just a good relationship with those churches. And so that's a bit of what their youth groups are doing with their junior, this is the senior high group, I think. And they keep on going. And young adults are helping us do that. We invite 20 young adults to help facilitate. Guess what? Those folks are enjoying community just as much as the youth groups are. So it's fun to have them come up and meet with us. And then here's the junior high crowd. So just really nice to see that group make that trek across the plains. And obviously we invite all the Colorado churches to join us. More young adults. Rowdy bunch. Who knew? Just because they're 19 doesn't mean they're any less hungry. Here we are. This is the men's retreat group that was burning those burn piles that was created from the Mennonite Disaster Service group in the winter. So appreciate their help with that. This is the women's retreat crew. It was fun to have Mariah Martin come and lead that with us. So women's retreat, and then this looks like a Rowdy Quilters group. So they have a show and tell opportunity with each other. And here's a little bit of snow that comes. I just enjoy the pattern that the picnic tables provided us with just about under 2 foot snowstorm that we had. This is the Memorial Day Work and Play crowd, where they help us get ready for the upcoming summer. This is the Colorado Roots Music Camp that we offer. And so it's beginning of the summer, end of the summer, and it's an opportunity for folks from all walks of life to come and enjoy bluegrass music. They like to represent themselves as they're kind of damaged church folks. And so they come for the music and they come and enjoy just being accepted and not getting converted necessarily that day. But in terms of bluegrass, you know, there's lots of good music of conversion you can do with that. So really fun bunch. Obviously, the youth camps continue to be the heart and soul of what we offer in terms of the variety of campers and kids that come and just really appreciate that opportunity to do that. So this is a resident camp. This was our group. Volunteers continue to be critical, of course. They came all the way from Pennsylvania to join us, and they called themselves the Lancaster Girlies. How's that for a time? They were on a road trip, had a hired driver, and we were their stop along the way as a part of the week to help us get started. This is the Wilderness Crew. I haven't quite made out what they were trying to spell. Wow, there you go, thank you. The boulder is the exclamation. Sorry, it's been a long summer. Anyway, the Wilderness Crew that goes out, they're a group of 10 campers that goes to a variety of spaces in Colorado. What else we got up here? And then the summer staff. Nothing like having 24 young adults get the summer going. So much appreciation to Emma and the rest of the crew, obviously for their spirit. For many of them, it's the first time job. Little joy. But it's just really being the eyes, ears, hands, and feet.
Can we just take a look at how much hops Corbin still has? He must be clearing 3 feet. He might be the highest of the group.
It's euphoria. And then just more photos of volunteer groups. We had White Stone Mennonite come and join us. We had Butter Valley Community Church all the way from Pennsylvania come up. They were 32 strong. And this is actually family camps. Continue to be popular. There we are at Overlook Trail. Anyway, I think that's about the total sum of our. Okay, so sorry. Pictures worth 1,000 words. Thank you for the support that you offer us. Again, the conference, churches, we love you. And no pictures of Pastor's Retreat. It's just as well.
And I'm back. In my role, my professional role, at working for Everence Financial. Most of you know Everence Financial to be the organization that provides education, information, and services around all things financial to just under 40 different denominations. So certainly Anabaptist Mennonite are a part of that, and the founding part of that, but we have branched out to many other denominations, including Quakers and Brethren and a few other denominations too. Happy to have my new colleague, Jonathan Harnish, with me. We are a financial sponsor of this event, which is why we get a few minutes to say hello and greetings. So just a bit on what we do and how we're different than Edward Jones or TD Ameritrade or other financial organizations that you might have heard more about than us. Our mission, together, we empower financial well-being for faith-inspired living. So we take just a little different twist on how that works. The kinds of things that we can offer and make available to you and to congregations and to organizations like the conference include things like insurance, investments, financial planning, banking services, charitable services, and then community benefits and stewardship education. This is year 28 for me with the organization. And happy to have Jonathan come on board. I am in my sunset years, so is that a term? I guess it is. Did I just use it?
You just used it.
Yeah, so it is. 2.5 years before I officially retire. And happy to have Jonathan on board. He and I will work together as a team over the next 2.5 years. And Jonathan's going to say just a little bit about who he is and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I already kind of gave most of y'all that introduction already, but just quick recap. Goshen College grad, kind of grew up in Colorado. Attend Bethel, part of the youth committee. I worked at camp for a number of summers. Woo, MVS, found my way working in the finance industry to pay off student debt. And I found my way to working at Everence and really been enjoying my time. It really is a culmination of kind of my biblical studies background with the finance that I was doing. For those of you who don't know, the way that we're kind of unifying those things, or one of the key ways, the reasons why I was so drawn to working for Everence, is called socially responsible investing. And those are just words that might not mean too much to most of us, but it's thinking about what are the companies that are actually making a difference? What are the companies that are impacting the world in a negative way? Can we screen that somehow? And then of those companies that we select, they're not perfect. Can we encourage them to be better and show up for the environment and show up for the poor and impoverished? And finally, we do impact investing. So we go to global communities that are impoverished or need some help and provide financing for them. So those are the sorts of things where we're aligning our faith and values with our finances. In fact, the endowment, I would guess, is probably invested in socially responsible investments. So not only is it helping support Mountain States, it's also doing some good out in the world and advocating for that change that we all believe in. And that's why I'm here, because I love that stuff. So I'd love to talk to you all about that at some point. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.
Oh, and we want to thank Everence. They were $2,000 sponsors, so we're very grateful for that. Okay, well, let me give you the results of the ballot. I'll start with the budget. Let's see, we have 22 yes, no no's, 1 abstain, so the budget has off. And the ballot for our leadership board, ministerial council, and finance committee, 23 yes, no's, 0 no's, and no abstentions. And then for our delegate ballot, no, to affirm Amy, I'm sorry, what was I thinking? 22 yes, no's, and 2 abstentions. So we have Amy for another 5 years. Yay! Oh, well, thank you all. This has been my first, I was moderator a number of years ago, but I just love this, being able to do this. I retired so January 1st from Everence, that I loved dearly, and I love this job too. And I'm so happy that I can be part of you all. And we're finished. So you are adjourned. I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, Amy has something.
So, thank you all for voting. We have the session on Mountain States Mennonite Conference 101 is going to be in here. It's going to be recorded. The session with MSUSA that's on social media is going to be in the room next door. Those are going to start at 3:45, correct? All right. Yep, 3:45. And so we'll see you there. Thank you all.
Thank you all. You're adjourned.